Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about how do you think I'm allowed on base? Instacart worker is tired of delivering orders to military bases. Now, before you go all uppity and go, ow, it's Instacart. There is actually a tip in the article that actually talks very specifically about what Doordashers do to get onto military bases to complete deliveries. That was something I didn't even know until I actually read it. So with that said, I actually want to go over what's being said here, why this Instacart person is having challenges getting onto military bases, and her feelings on the subject. So with that said, let's get started. When you work for a delivery service, there are definitely some workplace scenarios that are more than favorable than others. Working for food delivery applications like Doordash, Grubhub, and Instacart can present challenges. But there's one specific challenge that lots of folks probably haven't considered when it comes to delivery drive, delivering to military bases. I forget if it was down here or up in New York, but there were times where I delivered to military bases. And what happened a lot was because I couldn't get onto the military base, they either asked me to hang tight and they would come to me, or that I would need to call them, they would have to come out, or whatever it has been. I've never been permitted to be on the military base. Prior to this article, I had no idea that you could actually deliver onto military bases. But that's not limited to military bases either. Sometimes the hotel staff won't let you go up to the hotel room. Sometimes apartment buildings are very particular about forcing you to come down. Some places need a key fob in order to enter. And I'm sure there's more, I just can't name them off the top of my head. But I can imagine this being a serious issue for Instacart shoppers, because not only did you take the time, find all the items they need, and then have it delivered to them, you might be dealing with perishables that can actually go bad by the time that they come out. Like, they're frozen. It's not like you could just leave it at the door. Ashlyn at Mermaid Ashlyn 6 posted a clip sharing her frustrations in delivering for Instacart to military bases, firmly telling customers who think that they're going to get any food delivered to said base without at least meeting the Instacart driver at the front gate that they are essentially wasting their time. Well, first of all, I'm going to leave her TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. I agree with the first point. Like, they are essentially wasting their time if they're not going to meet you at the gate. But I'm pretty sure most people in the military would actually understand that, and they will meet you at the gate. Now, the reason why I think higher about that than most customers, because there are customers that are like, oh, why can't you meet me upstairs? And they'll Karen at you. For the military, I can't even imagine a Karen in the military. Like, how would that actually work? Let me speak to your superior. 100 push-ups today. We only did 50 yesterday. What's going on? You know, I really don't like how you're talking to me. You gotta work on that attitude. I just want to see a Karen in the military try to get one over on their superiors. Is that so wrong for me to want to watch? That was just fun to imagine in my mind. She says in the now viral video, just some advice for you guys who live on a military base: do not order through Instacart, because how do you expect me to deliver it to you? Especially when you won't even meet me at the guest entrance. How do you think I'm allowed on base? I'm not. Okay, you're both wasting our time. So the military person would not meet them. Not could not, would not meet them at the guest entrance. Like, if there was a physical challenge to where, like, oh, they're in the middle of something, they can't get Instacart through to the base, that's one thing. Like, they actually cannot do it. Like, hey, leave it there, I'll come before it a little later. That makes sense to me. But now they just will not meet you at the guest entrance. That's a little insane. That's assuming that the person is choosing not to because they expect it to go to. In this case, I don't know if it's that. I think it's there was a physical challenge doing so. Commenters expressed their disbelief that those living on a military base wouldn't, or at the very least, consider this possibility before placing their Instacart order. I think the same thing. I feel like for military, you don't have the same luxury, and I'm saying luxury because I just don't have a better term for it, to be lazy about anything. You gotta be the kind of person to actively get stuff done. Like, they will literally work you to the bone to make sure you're not only physically tough, mentally tough. Therefore, you gotta be the type of person to go get your Instacart order. The thought process they went through, one commenter wrote. At another point, like, did they actually think that through, or was it just like a spontaneous thing? Or it could be their first time ordering on Instacart and they don't know. And they always tip $0. Like, nah, go commissary and shop. Please leave us alone. Another quipped. What does commissary mean? What does commissary mean? Hang on. A store that sells food and basic household supplies on a military base or in a prison. Oh, I never knew that. In before, that's going to be an Instacart pickup. Of course, there were those who had plenty of jokes about the situation, too. Another commenter joked, probably a recruiter tricking you into enlisting to get on base. Do they do that? I never knew that they did that. Oh my god. I'm sure that's a joke, but imagine. These people are too funny. Another suggested, just enlist. I mean, are we gonna go into World War III? I don't know. Might have to. He says, knowing that he's above the age to be drafted. Some commenters mentioned that with Doordash, delivery drivers can get temporary access to enter the base. I used to do Doordash and you can get temporary access, said one user. Okay, where and how do you do that? Like, where is this? Can somebody talk to me about this? I never heard of that. In fact, I'm gonna look into that and probably make a video about potentially doing that, because that was a challenge for me at one point, so therefore I want to actually make a video so other people don't have that challenge. Because whenever I went to drop off somebody's food for DoorDash, the front gate guy was always like, no, you can't enter the base. So therefore I was just kind of sitting there and I was like, oh, okay. Try to call the guy. Hopefully the guy picks up. The guy picks up. Guy comes to the gate. Guy ends up taking a sweet ass time getting to the gate. And then I finally have the opportunity to finish the order and make the money that I want to make. But this would make it so much easier. Others said that apps are supposed to only give access delivery gigs to folks on military bases if they have a special certification or pass to deliver to bases. Okay, I need to figure out what that pass is because I am very curious on the subject. Delivery apps are only supposed to give those orders to people with base access on their profiles. Obs, they don't, but yeah. I don't think DoorDash really takes that into account though. Although I will say, if there are people who tip really well on those delivery bases, that might be a great opportunity for drivers. Because sometimes I'll get orders specifically to military bases and sometimes I will not. Does that base not allow you to apply for a pass? The process is usually like 10 minutes, someone asked. I don't think that's somebody most people knew. Like, I'll tell you what, this is the first time I ever heard of an application for a pass. So maybe they just don't tell people about it when they get there. And also, here's another question. Is there a need for it? 'Cause if there's no need for it, then why bother? Ashlyn responded to the customer stating that in most scenarios, she's forced to wait in the guest parking area, taking up more valuable time that she could have otherwise used to make more deliveries. That's a challenge that every gig worker has, is when the customer decides to be a pain in the butt and actually either order to a place that cannot be dropped off to, or they just aren't available to pick up the order for whatever reason. Then we gotta put on the timer, then we gotta make a thing about it, and everything else that goes into it. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. This girl brought up a lot of really good points about customers being more aware of where they're having food delivered. But at the same time, what this did is make an interesting reveal about delivering to military bases and how you can accomplish that without committing treason, basically. I didn't even know you can apply to actually have temporary access to a base. Not to mention, I would kind of like to just see the inside of a base. I never wanted to be in the military, but I did always want to see what the inside of a base looks like. That being said, it depends on what kind of customers end up having food delivered to them on a military base. If there is a opportunity there, they should certainly look into that. Also, here's another question. Should these gig apps give you the opportunity to apply for that? Because I'll tell you what, they'll give you an alcohol certification. They will give you certain pharmaceutical certifications to deliver those. But why wouldn't they allow military delivery? Where's the challenge there? I'm very curious to see what that's like and if it would actually affect somebody's income. So maybe that's something I need to look into down the road. However, customers need to be more aware of where they're having food delivered. We cannot deliver food in certain areas. It is the customer's responsibility to actually meet us halfway. If we can't go onto the military base, they need to come out. We can't get to their apartment because the security is going to stop us. They need to come down. If the hotel is actually preventing us to deliver to your hotel room, you need to come down. It's a whole list of things that customers just overall need to be more aware. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!